Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're gonna have a look at the Leonardo Momento Zero. This colorway was a limited edition for 2023 Fountain Pen Day for Stile&Stile. That's why it has this nice paper sleeve on top, and inside there is another paper sleeve, this time with Leonardo Officina Italiana, and inside this other paper sleeve there is finally a box, and inside the box we see a guarantee card as well as the pen in a plastic sleeve. The box itself has Leonardo Officina Italiana written inside it, and it has a nice faux leather inside. Definitely a nice packaging for gifting a pen. But let's have a look at the pen itself in more detail. It has a rather classic Italian styling with a pointy top and bottom, as well as a, let's call it, Naples style clip with a functional roller. Overall, the clip design is rather simple, but it's also very functional. I think this works very well. Going towards the bottom of the cap, we see 3 metal rings as well as a stamping Leonardo X Stile&Stile. This was a limited edition of 280 models, and mine is number 221. The transition from the cap to the barrel is rather smooth. The barrel then has 1 metal ring, then tapers in slightly towards another metal ring. The cap uncaps in just about 1 rotation, which gives us access to a very nicely stamped stainless steel medium nib with a plastic feed. This is a regular JOWO number 6 nib. The whole nib unit unscrews easily, so it can be replaced with any other JOWO number 6 nib. The section has this milk bottle shape. It works quite well for me. At the narrowest point it's about 10.5 millimeters wide and then tapers up to 12 millimeters. Unscrewing the barrel gives us access to a very nice Leonardo converter. Alternatively, you don't have to even unscrew the barrel fully. There is a knob at the end of the barrel that also gives you access to the piston knob. So you can prime the feed without unscrewing the barrel itself, or you can even fill the pen with just accessing the piston knob like this. This, however, brings me to one of the construction issues of this pen, because these threads are metal and the little cap is made out of acrylic, so you are risking that over time the metal threads can damage the plastic threads here, and this issue is repeated throughout the pen. So if you want to unscrew the converter, because the converter screws into this metal piece, and the converter has the same issue as the little knob at the end of the barrel, so plastic threads go into metal threads here, and this also happens a third time. Plastic threads from the nib unit screw into metal threads inside this metal piece here, and all three of these are potential points of failure. On the bright side, you can use cartridges without issues, and you can even hide a second cartridge inside the pen body, so this fits well. The second cartridge pokes out a bit like this, but it's fine, so both converter and cartridges work very well in this pen. Other than these issues with metal on plastic threads, the pen is constructed quite well. There is a cup liner inside the cup, and the cup seals quite well. The threads for the cup don't have any tendency to cross thread, and the polishing job on the pen body is really well done. Size-wise, this pen is on the smaller side of full-sized pens. Closed is 140 mm, which makes it quite a bit longer than the Pelikan M400 and slightly shorter than a Lamy Safari. On the other hand, the metal parts give it quite a bit of weight. With the cap it weighs 29 grams, and without the cap it weighs 21 grams. Uncapped, it's 127 mm long, which is fairly usable and it's quite well balanced. It also posts quite well, measuring 163 mm. The edge of the cap is nicely rounded, so it does not bother me. Okay, now it's time for a writing sample. So the pen I'm using is the Leonardo Momento Zero, and this is the medium nib. The ink is Lamy Blackberry. Unfortunately, one of the QC issues that my pen had is that the nib slit is not completely on center, and there was something wrong with the tipping. I had to grind the tipping a little bit to smoothen out the burr that was there, but now the nib is working quite well. In terms of wetness, this ink is about medium wet, I would say, and the pen performs just fine. In terms of any skipping and hard starts, so no issues with hard starts in any of the directions. As for skipping, it's all good. Flex, this is a standard YOLO number 6 nib. We get just a tiny bit of line variation, and as for reverse, we get an extra fine line, or rather extra fine line, but the ink flow is not really reliable. Partially, most likely caused by my slight nib modification. The nib actually has a little bit of horizontal and vertical line variation, and on vertical strokes it does about 0.6 millimeter line. Ergonomically, this pen works quite well for me. I like the shape of the section, and the pen is comfortable both posted and unposted. After fixing the nib, the writing experience is now quite good. I don't have any complaints there. Overall, I think the pen looks very good. I like the material, I like the shape of the pen, as well as all the metal trim rings. The pen works quite well ergonomically, and the writing experience is quite good after fixing the nib. However, I don't like that there are so many metal on plastic threads, and I think the QC of Leonardo pens is a bit spotty. First, the nib I think was not really inspected by Leonardo, because the issues with the tipping and the uneven slit were quite obvious under a loop. I also had another QC issue, and that was the roller on the clip wasn't seated there properly. It didn't move. I had to nudge it a little bit with a fingernail to put it in place. Now it's working fine, just like the nib, but I think that Leonardo should pay more attention to quality control. The Momento Zero was quite popular and still is. Unfortunately, I think it's slightly overhyped because it just has some issues, and I can't really say that it's a perfect pen without Leonardo making any changes to the way the pen is built and their QC. I don't think I'll be buying another Momento Zero. The build and QC issues simply bother me too much. However, if you find one used at a good price or on a sale, or one on which you really do like the material, you can give it a try. You might actually love it. That's all from me for today. Thanks for watching. Bye.